He says is it's my honor to serve with Kamala Harris, but he doesn't say anything beyond that. That is a glaring omission.
Well, yeah, he didn't. He literally can't. Like, he didn't step down. The only way he can pass the torch is if he actually steps down as serving president, which I don't think would be a very good move, because that would be an admission that, like, I'm no longer fit to serve at this point. And I think that Kamala Harris needs to focus all of her energy on the campaign trail. If she's president, she can't do that. So I think that it's a very good move for Biden to stay president until Kamala is, elected in, which she will be, because we love our mama Kamala. We believe in her. Coconuts in chat. Okay, so if you're not living under a rock, then you probably know by now, Joe Biden is out. He's done. He is done. He's fired, right? In the words of somebody that I know, he's fired. He's dropped out, which means Kamala Harris is probably going to be the person to replace him. And so everybody's riding the Kamala train right now. Coconuts in chat, please. We're all riding the Mama Kamala train. Not everybody is very happy about it, including Ben Shapiro over here. I know a lot of conservatives have been giving their 2 cents, but I just wanted to start with Ben Shapiro because he's a popular one. Now, for me personally, let me just go ahead and give my 2 cents on this, which I've done on stream before, but I haven't really done it on YouTube very much. I think that this is a great thing, okay? Because Biden has shown in polls to be basically a loser now. He's just a loser. And so he's not going to be somebody that we can count on to beat Donald Trump, which is extraordinarily important, because if you know anything about what's going on with like Project 2025, it's not good. It's really not good. It's a 900-page document which essentially outlines the fascist takeover of the United States government, and Donald Trump, for all of his posturing about, well, we're not going to do that. Yes, he is. So, I'd rather not live in a fascist dictatorship. So I think that any form of anything that we can take, I will take, as far as trying to beat Donald Trump goes. And since Biden was not pulling well, Kamala was actually performing much better than Biden. So I'll take it. I'm fully K-hive pilled. I'm K-pilled, okay? I am on the Mama Kamala train. All right, we're coconut pilled here. But not everybody is, as I said. Let's start with Ben Shapiro, and then we'll move into Matt Walsh after this segment, probably. Unless anybody that has a funnier react. I want the funnies, basically. I want to see people mauling and seething. So we'll see if Ben Shapiro gives us the funnies.
Alrighty, folks, so breaking news, huge news. Joe Biden is out. He has now announced he is out. I was doubtful, I'll be honest with you, because he's a very, very stubborn man, and he does not like being pushed out.
True, he was.
But
history will remember Joe Biden. I do agree with this point. History will remember Joe Biden as like gracefully stepping down, right? And whatever, I don't care that much. But let's us leftists not forget, let us pass down by word of mouth that he fought tooth and nail to keep his candidacy. Don't ever forget that.
But with the new polls that have emerged over the weekend showing him down 7 in Michigan, showing him down nationally, widely, probably going to lose the Electoral College by 100 votes, losing Virginia, losing maybe Minnesota, competitive in New Jersey. Apparently, he had no other choice. The donors came to him, the Obamas came to him, everybody came to him, and he is out. A little bit earlier today, just a few minutes ago, he released a statement.
He could have kept going. He had a choice, but that is true. Everything Ben is saying so far is correct.
Via Twitter, which again demonstrates where things are at. You would figure that he would do a sort of farewell press conference. He's not retiring from the presidency itself. He is only saying that he is not going to run, which leaves open a massive question as to why exactly he is qualified to continue running the country right now, but he is not qualified to continue running for the nomination of the Democratic Party. Here is the letter that he just wrote. Quote, "My fellow Americans."
He's more qualified than Donald Trump is, but the American people don't see it that way, unfortunately.
"Over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress
because an election is basically just one big popularity contest anymore. I think that's all what it always was, basically, but like especially since the dawn of the TV and the internet, it's just one big popularity contest. That's all it is. It's not policy-based. It is completely optics-based, and Donald Trump was optically doing better than Biden, unfortunately, even with all the allegations that came out against him, even with his literally being a felon. But now we can say he is not only the oldest presidential nominee ever to run, he's also the first felon to ever run for presidential office. So congratulations, Donald Trump. Seriously, those are some big achievements, really big, very good. I'm sure Kamala will, have no. If Kamala has an ounce of stones, she will have no problem taking down Donald Trump. I have my full faith in her. And also Donald Trump did horrible at the RNC, so that's another thing to consider.
As a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today, which of course...
I'll pull it up real quick just so that we can have this historical tweet, which will be in the history books. So we'll just reread it real quick. My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is not the tweet that he was looking at. Which one was he looking at? He was looking at something else, but this is the tweet that kind of dropped and made the rounds. So honestly, I struggle to imagine anyone that would have voted for Biden going on to not vote for Harris. It would literally have to be some centrist who's like, yeah, Biden, I trusted a man but not a woman, or I trusted a white guy but not a black woman. So like it would literally have to be either a misogynist or a racist Democrat, which is not impossible, but they're few and far between. If anything, this is pulling people in.
None of that is true, which is why he has a 32% approval rating, which is really why he's leaving. Let's be real about this. He's not leaving because he's senile. He's leaving because he's losing. He continues, quote, I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy. We revitalized and strengthened our allies around the world.
I think this is the longer statement that Biden released after the fact.
It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me re-elected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work, and let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today
he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
There's nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of Ameriboodle. Anyway.
Of Ameriboodle. I'm not going to lie, he's got a pretty good Biden impression. It's not bad. I don't know the Ameriboodle where that came from.
So, he's out.
Also, I got to say, he looks so much better without the beard. The beard is killing this vibe. Like, it doesn't even age him. It just makes him look like, I don't know, like, I don't like it. Just get it off your face, man. You look so much better without it.
Well, there are two things that letter does not say. One, I'm throwing all of my delegates to Kamala Harris. He does not say that. He does not say Kamala Harris will make a fine nominee for our party, and she should be the person who picks up the mantle. He does not, in fact, pass the torch to his vice president. The only thing he says is it's my honor to serve with Kamala Harris, but he doesn't say anything beyond that. That is a glaring omission. The other thing that it pretty clearly says is that he is going to stay as...
Oh, wait, what's a glaring omission?
The only thing he says is it's my honor to serve with Kamala Harris, but he doesn't say anything beyond that. That is a glaring omission.
Well, yeah, he literally can't, like, he didn't step down. The only way he can pass the torch is if he actually steps down as serving president, which I don't think would be a very good move, because that would be an admission that, like, I'm no longer fit to serve at this point. And I think that Kamala Harris needs to focus all of her energy on the campaign trail. If she's president, she can't do that. So I think that it's a very good move for Biden to stay president until Kamala is, elected in, which she will be, because we love our mama Kamala. We believe in her. Coconuts in chat.
The other thing that it pretty clearly says is that he is going to stay as president of the United States, which opens up an entire line of attack on anyone, including Kamala Harris, who doesn't push him out right now. Let's say that you're Kamala Harris, and let's say that you're consolidating support inside the Democratic Party, which behind the scenes, apparently, you have been doing. There are a bunch of factors militating in favor of her becoming the new nominee. One of them is that Joe Biden's campaign, the Biden-Harris campaign, has like $100 million in the bank. That money basically gets locked up unless Harris is the actual nominee.
Bring in that money, baby. It's all going to Kamala.
Not only that, Kamala Harris also has the support of people like James Clyburn. Obviously, a big part of the Democratic voter base are Black Americans. Black Americans supposedly like Kamala Harris. I'm not sure where that data is coming from, but that is seen.
Hold on, what?
Are Black Americans supposedly like Kamala Harris? I'm not sure where that data is coming.
Well, who would have guessed, right? I'm sorry, this is just a fact. Like, if you run a black candidate, you will be more likely to pull in black voters. That is just a fact. It's not racist to point that out or anything. That it's just a demographic thing, because that's representation. You know, it's because of the divide, the racial divide in our country. It's a consequence of systemic racism. But yeah, no, it's true. Like, I feel like that's true. Just like I feel like that's like common sense a little bit. So I don't know why he would like be confused by that.
From, but that is seen as a sort of insuperable obstacle for Democrats in nominating anyone else. Also, it creates a line of consequence.
If Trump somehow wins, we'll even be able to enforce Project 2025. I mean, he said he's going to be a dictator on day one. And I got news for you. If the okay, so the way that the government runs, any government, is run by a monopoly of force. Okay? Why do you follow the law? Well, it's because, if it's not because you're good, like, let's say that, like, you don't pay your taxes, right? Now, if you you can do that for a number of reasons. You can forget, you can, you can just try to save money. But if you don't file your taxes, that's illegal. You can go to jail for that, right? And that's the point, is that you go to jail for that. Now, what if you decide, oh, I don't want to go to jail? Okay, they will break down your door and drag you to jail by force. And if you put up resistance, they will kill you. So it always comes back to, if you don't follow the law, they'll kill you. So if conservatives have power over all three branches of government, which they have power over the SCOTUS, they have power over half of the congressional branch. They don't have power over the Senate the House and the Senate of the congressional branch. So they don't have power over that. They don't have power over the executive branch, which is the presidency, but they do have power over SCOTUS. Okay, so if they sweep and they take power over all three, then it just comes down to, well, if you don't do what we want, we'll kill you. And, I'm laughing, but it's just true. So yes, if Trump takes office and they also sweep the House and Senate, they could absolutely enforce anything that they want to upon you and your family and your loved ones. So let's not let that happen.
Continuity. But that is actually the problem for the Democrats. A line of continuity with Joe Biden is really bad for them. All the attacks that have been leveraged against Joe Biden can now be leveraged against Kamala Harris. And because
I don't know, like, most of the attacks that have been leveraged against Joe Biden are that he's old. And they don't have that against Kamala Harris now, because Trump's the one who's old. So, like, if they attack him on policy, sure. But, like, they're not attacking him on policy. They never have been. They've just been saying Biden's old, Biden's old, Biden's old, Biden crime family, Biden's old, Biden crime family, Hunter Biden's cock, Biden is old. Like, that's all it's been, So, like, they really can't shift that over that easily.
He's not stepping down from the presidency. The question is going to be...
Literally Sleepy Trump falling asleep at his, during his son's presentation, his PowerPoint presentation to the RNC.
To Kamala Harris, he's too senile to be president of the United States. Why don't you 25th Amendment him? Why don't you push him out? And she won't. She won't. Because if she tried to, then he would fight.
I don't even... What does it mean to... Here, I need to refresh myself on what the 25th Amendment is, honestly. Sorry if that makes me look stupid. Presidential disability and succession. In case of removal of the president from office or of his death or resignation, the vice president. Well, I think that he's still fit to serve. Like, he's still fit to serve as the president. So they can't really 25th Amendment him. Like, he would literally have to die or be completely so incapacitated that he literally cannot serve. And I don't think that they're going to do that, so.
Fight back on that, because that would be a full disgrace. He'd be the first president ever to have the 25th Amendment invoked on him if that were going to be a thing that actually happens. She's not going to do that. So she's now stuck between a rock and a hard place if she's the nominee.
The fact that you look into more things you aren't familiar with shows that you're actually super smart. Listen, if I have a question, I ask it. That doesn't make me smart. That just makes me normal, I feel like.
On one hand, she doesn't want to be answerable for everything that Biden is doing. On the other hand, she can't actually control the government. She can't actually control anything. And so the way things currently sit, she is an extraordinarily vulnerable candidate. Now, there have been a lot of talks about whether there's an open convention, whether there's some sort of shortened primary process where the Democrats all go at it. The problem is, who is ready to pick up the mantle? It can't be Gavin Newsom. Like, if you're Gavin Newsom, do you want in on this race? In this vulnerable position, is this where you want to be? If you're Gretchen Whitmer, maybe you want in because you think you'll do better in Michigan than Joe Biden. But are you going to be able to consolidate the party that quickly? And if it consolidates behind Kamala, do you want to be Kamala Harris's VP? Is that something Josh Shapiro is going to give up on? Or are you going to wait this one out, watch Kamala Harris go?
What's the deal with Josh Shapiro? I heard that he's got beef. No, he was the one who wanted Biden to stay in, right? Like, he was really chomping down on that one. Like, he really wanted Biden to stay in. But he's the governor of Pennsylvania, I believe. And so people are talking about bringing in Shapiro to not this Shapiro, the other Shapiro. No Josh Shapiro. I don't know. Like, if they're trying to lock down Pennsylvania, the most important thing is winning this election. I don't give a what happens after that, at least not at this moment. So the most important thing is winning the election. So if Josh Shapiro is the key to winning the election, make him the vice president. I don't give a dude. Like, I know he sucks, but I'm sorry, we got to beat Trump.
Go down in flames and then bank on 2028. This is a total mess for the Democratic Party. It also, on the Republican side of the aisle, throws everything into complete conflict and turmoil, obviously, because the reality is that the entire Republican campaign has been centered for the past month and a half, 2 months, on Joe Biden's senility. That is no longer going to be the chief issue on the ballot. Now, there will be a secondary issue, which is the fact you can't trust Democrats who lied about this thing for years on end. That will be a very serious...
They can try, but they did correct it, you know? Like, they brought in somebody younger. And to be fair, right, the Democrats did this far too late. Far too late. Like, Biden was not supposed to run again to begin with. So he does have a point here, but they corrected it. And so I don't think people are going to really care. Like, anybody who was going to vote for Joe Biden is going to vote for Kamala Harris. And people who were on the fence about Joe Biden because of his age are now going to vote for Kamala Harris, probably. So this can only benefit the Democrats. And they can try to spin it against that. But, like, they can try to spin the narrative to not say that, but this will only benefit us.
Issue going forward. It will also be a very serious issue,
bringing up a bunch
obviously,
of non-issues
when it comes to Kamala Harris, who's sitting in the meetings with him and should have known all of this. But the entire playbook is going to have to be shifted now to a new candidate. If it's Kamala, then there's plenty to attack her on. Again, go watch our series, Scamala. It is the 3-part series on Kamala Harris at Daily Wire Plus right now. Remember, subscriptions 47% off with promo code FIGHT. You need to know everything you need to know about Kamala because she's very likely to be the next nominee. But Republicans are going to have to direct all of their political firepower at the Democratic positions. They're going to have to go back to Joe Biden being a bad president, the White House being a bad White House.
I don't think Joe Biden being a bad president is going to help them. They're literally going to fall back, which they already have started doing, misogyny and racism. Not so much the racism. It's lately been the misogyny. Let's pull some up, shall we? Cackling Camel Toes Team. It's a pretty good one, 82 likes. Or no, this tweet has 82 likes, sorry. The tweet that I'm getting this from. The Democrats pulled the wool over Americans' eyes when they elected this Kenyan-born guy who wasn't eligible to be president. Now they want to do the same thing with Camel Toe Harris. Please don't let him. So they're calling her Camel Toe Harris now. That's cool. The fact that Camel Toe Harris made $50 million in one day supposedly just shows you how many R slurs we really have in this country. Y'all are morons. Side piece 2024. Very good, very good. And here's another one. Give it to me straight. How long will it take to blow 51% of America with 42.1K likes? I don't think that's going to play very well to their centrist base. I think that a lot of people are going to be very turned off by that, so to speak. He had a few good points in there. Not going to lie. I was expecting a little bit more malding from him. I was a little bored, to be honest with you. But I think that this is this was a good vehicle for getting across the message that Kamala is a fantastic choice right now, especially given that abortion is a huge hot button issue, and she is a female president. So I think that that's really important. I think that the fact that she's black is really good for bringing in, usually black people vote for Democrats anyway, but she will help. Like, she can't hurt the black vote, basically. Like, you can try to bring up her police record, but do you really think that conservatives are going to be like, well, if you look at her police record, she actually was really, really tough on crime? Like, that's not going to be a thing that Republicans do. So I do think that, that it will only help the black vote, which is good. I have heard some, I don't know. I've heard people trying to say that, her police record would drive black people away, but I feel like it's a little bit racist to say. It's not like black people are a monolith and, they all believe that the police are bad people, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, I believe most black people actually like the police. So, it's really not a good point to bring up, in my opinion. But yeah, I do think that the racism and the sexism are going to help pull people over away from Trump rather than towards him. He's already a pretty sexist guy to begin with. I think this will mobilize women a lot. Her police record is so bad. Okay, but let's put that aside. I don't give a right now. I'm sorry, not to be mean to you, but I just don't care that much. We got to beat Trump. So I'm all on board with Kamala Harris. And yeah, I think this will be very, very good for the Democratic Party. I think we have a real shot here. So keep your hopes tentatively high. A lot can happen between now and the election, but I'd say that this is a good sign. It's a good sign. Let's stay optimistic. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.